Today we're going to cover a few installation tips on installing the automatic lubrication system on your pieces of equipment. One of the first things you want to do is when you're installing it, once the pump is mounted, you generally want to put about 1/8 of a cup of oil. Just enough so that oil trickles down in here and fills up this tube here, maybe about 3 or 4 inches. What that'll do is that'll allow that oil to run down slowly down into the pump. Sometimes when customers put oil in, they pour a little bit too much in. And what happens, here's a cutaway of the pump right here. What happens is when they pour oil in here, there's an air pocket in the top of the pump. And if they pour in too much oil and they have a head pressure here, it won't allow that little air bubble to burp out of the pump there and travel up there. So it's a real easy fix. If that does happen, if you take an Allen wrench and you disconnect, you unscrew one of these little plugs, what that'll do is that'll allow the air pocket right here to burp out this little hole. And as soon as you see any oil coming out of there, you can just reinstall that little plug and you're set to go. If you have a pump that has all check valves that does not have the plug, you can remove one of the check valves. And as soon as you see oil at that fitting right there, at that opening, just screw the check valve down in, and then your pump is charged and ready to go. One of the other items is the pumps are adjustable. They come from the factory with this brass plunger screwed all the way open counterclockwise. So that gives you your most travel inside the pump. You can adjust that by loosening this jam nut and then taking a wrench and you can screw that brass plunger forward. And what that does is that limits the travel of your pump. Many customers will take that and they'll turn it in on a starting point, maybe about 10 turns, and cut it down about half stroke. When you're installing the system, once you get it mounted and you're ready to route your lines, what you want to do is with this little sleeve nut here in this ferrule, if you slide it on the tube, and then when you push it in there, push that tube all the way down to the bottom, and then slide that in there while holding that tube in and snug it down. And then you can just take a wrench and just lightly snug. You don't have to have it super tight there, just good and snug. To connect this to the brushes have push-in style fittings in there. You can take that and you can just push that down in until it bottoms out. You'll feel that secure and bottom out, and that's all there is to do at that point right there. The pumps on higher pressure systems, example like on a combine, some combines are on a much higher pressure. This little elbow fitting here comes with an orifice in there, and that slows the amount of oil that goes in there, the speed of the oil that goes in there to actuate the pump slower. If you're taking an older kit and trying to use it on maybe a newer combine that's higher pressure, you can talk to sales or engineering here and they can get you this fitting right here. That'll be an orifice fitting. And when you install your brushes to get proper alignment, what you want to do is you want to have that brush pushed down into the chain, preferably over a sprocket, approximately 3/8 of an inch. So you just get that brush, the bristles to spread out over the chain, and that'll put a real light coating of oil on that chain when it's turning.